What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to do a video talking a little bit about something I'm going to call the technology singularity. So maybe you've heard the term singularity in the past. There has been a few people talking a little bit about it, and that is this concept that computers are going to reach a state where any computing you can do yourself, any computing you do when you are analyzing something or whatever, any computing you can do that it's going to look so pointless compared to the computing a computer can do. I think Ray Kurzweil have written a book talking about singularity is near, and yeah, I mean the concept is very, very fascinating. And what evidence do we have? Well, we can already see a lot of this thing kind of happening in terms of computing, that you can, for example, go this year. I think there's a website called talktotransformer.com, which is using GPT to machine learning, deep learning, where you put in the few first words of a sentence, and then the machine learning goes and completes something in a very interesting way. And it makes it look like it has very much sense many of the times, and sometimes it generates very, very amazing stuff, and this is just early. So if it's this good already right now, can you imagine how much better it's going to be in 5 years, in 10 years? I mean, it is insane. Insane in a good way, I would say. So this thing, the technology singularity, the concept is fascinating. I have a personal experience of it as well. Now I have the latest Galaxy S10 Plus. I see how good it is. Like, it's amazing how much better it is compared to the Galaxy S8. It's almost a 3x better device, it feels like. So this is something that you don't know if you only are sitting on an older device. You think it's going to be like a tiny bit better. But my own personal experience says that it's 3x better because it does everything so much faster. And the personal experience of it is just so much better. So I sort of see this computing that, yeah, it's really approaching some form of singularity, singularity time frame quite soon, where it's just going to be so good. It's just going to be so good that a lot of the tasks that I'm doing on my phone is a lot of copy and pasting and like moving things around. It's a lot of petty stuff. Scrolling up and down, opening an app, using dual tasking. A lot of the stuff. I mean, I can take an example of a very petty thing that is like, if I want to use YouTube and I want to do something else on my phone, I can't, because I have to have premium, YouTube premium or whatever, to play in the background. So I have to go to another website and download the video. And when I go to that website, I see an ad, and maybe I have to do it on my MacBook Pro. There's a lot of petty stuff that we can really easily make so we don't have to do those things so we don't have to do these nonsense stuff of paying for like basic stuff as play something in the background. You shouldn't have to pay for that. It's some serious nonsense. Or like that you have to then use, like, you can, yeah, you can have like you can use multi-window or you can use pop-up window, but you shouldn't have to use that. Like, it's like you just use some sound, use some sound from your device. It shouldn't be that complex. So there's a lot of stuff that's complex right now that we can simplify so much and make the user experience 100x better. Another petty thing, for example, is why is my smartphone coming with a billion apps when I haven't even installed any? Like, a new device comes with hundreds of apps. That's some serious nonsense, to be honest. And why can't you disable some apps? That's pretty stupid. So yeah, I mean, it's all about computing, especially when you talk about the technology singularity perspective. So some things to keep in mind. This would not replace human consciousness, because because human consciousness is not computing. Like you can do computing with your brain, but human consciousness, it's it's of a completely different nature, a nature of pure intelligence, which a computer cannot understand. It can imagine that it understands it, but it has no personal experience of consciousness. So it can do computing a million times better than you can do, but it's never going to have human consciousness. This is very, very important to understand. So, so it's going to be very interesting to see this play out, because a lot of different reasons. It's going to be interesting to see it play out because, well, in many ways, it sounds utopian that we're going to have a world where nobody has to do any work, but I mean, it's going to happen. If smartphones are this good, we're already getting like triple cameras and so on, and it's just 2019. And we're starting to have devices. I saw some new technology where you can fully charge a device, I think, in like 10 minutes. And and that's like coming in 2 years or so, I saw. So, and then you imagine just a few more years in the future, like 2025, 2030, like it's going to be even faster. It's going to be even faster, it's going to be even better. And a lot of these petty stuff that we're doing with our devices right now, that is just taking up extra time so someone else can make a little bit of extra on the side, that's not even efficient. All of that's going to go away, and people are just going to go to the core of what kind of computing they want to do. What kind of interface do they want to have? People will be able to design their own interfaces, their own experiences. They will be able to run their own simulations. And that gets very, very interesting. The people will be able to run their own simulations, create their own videos, create their own music, and really customize everything. And that's going to make it so people can optimize their own life in whatever way now they want to do it. So for example, I noticed with a lot of websites, it's very interesting. For example, you can customize the interface with, for example, a uBlock origin. You can cut out different elements. For example, if you don't want to see vanity elements, you can remove that, and it's quite interesting how you can do that. And as I talked about in the past, I would love to have a device that comes where I can just tell it, the artificial intelligence, I can just tell it what kind of data I like, what kind of data feeds I want, what kind of ones and zeros do I want to see, what kind of interesting information do I want to have that it picks up and delivers it to me. We can have it so better working, so we can remove so much load time, like when we have to refresh stuff just to load the same amount of data. I mean, it's a lot of that we really do not have to do. And then I think eventually with technology singularity, it eventually just gets to the point where people just can have fun and and focus more about having fun and creating their own experiences that they want to have, right? I think we're already seeing this a lot uh, with uh, with people having so much extra time on their devices, and they're deciding themselves whatever now they want to go and dive deeper into. So, for example, we see a lot of some people are sort of downgrading themselves with technology, and some people are upgrading themselves. People are upgrading themselves in how they are expanding the borders of ignorance. So we have a lot of these social media websites, and people follow each other, and a lot of that following, a lot of people want to know more. They want to discover more. They want something new to happen. So they're always like, so many people, many people are expanding the borders of ignorance. And then you also have, as I said, some people are downgrading themselves. They are just like, entertainment is interesting because Some people seems to be consuming entertainment in a more destructive way with this like low vibration energy, and some other people they have this upper vibration energy where they are working, and they're doing some entertainment on the side so they can do more work, so they can transform themselves or other people in easier ways. So people are using entertainment in different ways, but it's really all this play of energy, and it's really fascinating how creation is like that you really do have everything in here. So really everything. So it's gonna happen, right? You're gonna have this technology singularity, and a lot of these data that people found super fascinating, all these all this gathering that we sort of doing with data, eventually we're probably just gonna realize, oh wait a sec, we can just have this little box in the corner, and it does all those things that we thought was huge. For example, you have to understand that our whole schooling system is designed on just memory. And then we're gonna be like, oh wait a sec, this little computer here in the corner, it can do all the memory, it can do all the computing. We really don't have anything new. Oh wait a sec, we have to use our human consciousness and try to expand our borders of ignorance more. And it's fascinating to see this play. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen. And it's going to be interesting then, because then humans have more time to expand the borders of ignorance, and maybe they go and see that, oh, the stuff that we talked about in the past, it wasn't really that accurate, like when we really dive deeper into it and really use our intelligence. So yeah, technology singularity is truly coming. I'm not sure when, but it's coming. And all this extra free time really makes it so people have a more time to look at the world, look at what other people are doing and what other people are investing time and energy into. So yeah, it's cool. It's very, very cool. So that is what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. And I mean, it's just funny, right? It's funny when you have these devices and you see, is there anything new going on? No. Like most of the time, there's not really anything new going on. People putting on a drama, they're putting on a show, yeah, um, and they're doing that to get a little bit more entertained, and also mainly because they want something to happen. Like everyone wants something to happen. That's why clickbait works. Uh, so it's interesting to see that play out as well. So that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. And I can see it in my own life as well. The aspect of computing that, for example, reviewing smartphones on YouTube for 10 years, I can see how you can afford more and more phones, more and more phones. And then you see what all those phones did, you can now do with like one new high-end smartphone. so so you think in some ways you need all these devices, right? But then you realize, oh wait a sec, one device can do it all. Like one device can do more than 200 devices. That's kind of funny, to be honest. That's really, really interesting. It's really interesting also that you can create all these niche industries where people are really investing a lot in not just generic content like mainstream content, but when you can do like I find it a little bit weird with all these vlog videos that gets like millions of views per day or like hundreds of thousands of views, and the person is not even doing anything interesting, but they have it like they have it like they have gathered this audience on a centralized platform, and the centralized platform sort of like them, so they sort of promote them a lot. But eventually you realize that, oh wait a sec, they're not really doing anything unique. Like anyone now can do a vlog with their smartphone because they're getting more powerful. So you don't even need a separate camera. And it's just fascinating. It's fascinating how you don't even need an audience anymore. Eventually, probably you can just have bots that pay you. Uh, you don't even need humans that pay you. It's not even physical. Like it's in the cloud. It's in the cloud, man. We don't even need the clicks. I mean, and even this aspect is very interesting. So it's like, even with all these YouTube videos that said that thousands of people went in and clicked and watched those, like we don't even know if they did that. We can only see the numbers on a screen. So for example, if we're seeing a video got 100,000 views, we don't know if 100,000 people clicked on that. We have no idea, but we assume a lot of stuff in our head because we're ignorant, and we believe everything that we see on the screen. And now in 2019, you're starting to see that more people are starting to realize, oh, wait a sec, maybe not everything that we see on the screen is true. That's kind of funny, right? That's kind of funny. And it's good that people are starting to think a little bit more and starting to realize this aspect of technology singularity, and that you really can simulate a lot of things. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Have a great day, DTube and Steam blockchain.